Who's Who, Mastering Defining Relative Clauses. Hello language learners. Today, we're going to dive into the world of defining relative clauses, specifically focusing on the use of who for people. Defining relative clauses, or identifying relative clauses, are used to specify which person or thing we mean. In these clauses, we often use who for people. By the end of this video, you'll be a pro at forming and using these clauses in your everyday English conversations. Defining relative clauses are incredibly useful in English. They provide essential information to define or identify the person or thing we are talking about. For example, the woman who lives next door is a doctor. Here, who lives next door is the defining relative clause, giving us crucial information about which woman we're talking about. Remember, we usually use who for people in defining relative clauses. Creating a defining relative clause with who is straightforward. First, we identify the person we're talking about. Next, we add who, followed by the verb and the rest of the clause. Let's see a few more examples. The man who sold me this car didn't tell me it had a fault. The girl who sits next to me in class is really smart. Do you know the people who live across the street? Remember, the clause coming after who is necessary to identify the person we're discussing. One common mistake learners make is to replace who with that when referring to people. While that can be used informally in some dialects of English, it's generally better to stick with who when referring to people. Incorrect. The woman that works here is my friend. Correct. The woman who works here is my friend. Another mistake is to forget the who entirely. Without who, the sentence often becomes unclear. Incorrect. The boy I saw yesterday is my cousin. Correct. The boy who I saw yesterday is my cousin. And that's a wrap on defining relative clauses with who. Remember, who is our go-to pronoun for people when we're defining them in a sentence. Keep practicing these structures, and before you know it, they'll become second nature. Thanks for joining me in today's lesson. I hope you found it helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in our next English language learning adventure.